Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to the best expansions and new additions hitting retail in April 2023. I put out my best new games hitting retail video a few days ago, and then this video always comes, a week or so after the best new games hitting retail because we want more. We want more stuff. We want more cards. We want more scenarios. We want more miniatures. Expansions are more, and this is more, so let's get into more. Best expansions and new additions hitting retail in April. Arcane Wonders is releasing the game Furnace Interbellum. This is an expansion for the game Furnace that's great. Furnace came out a couple of years ago. I actually put it in my top 10 games of 2021. It is a bidding auction game and then an engine building game. So you are placing out bids for certain cards and then adding those cards to your production line. And it's one of those engine building games that by the end you're like, I'm doing so much. It's really satisfying. Well, Furnace Interbellum does a few cool things. One, it adds components for a fifth player, so the original game only played 4 players. Now you can play it at 5. It also adds new components for 2-player and single-player games. That was one of the things about Furnace, the original game. It certainly worked best at 3 or 4. So now there's new stuff for a 2-player game or a single-player game. It also adds new company cards, new capitalist cards, new abilities, manager tokens, variable capital discs. So a bunch of new stuff for it. It also, the theme of the original game was like late 1800s industrialists. Well, this expands the game into the 20s and 30s of the 20th century. So, adds some new time period into the game. It's got fun artwork, cool, like old industrialist artwork, but it looks really good, It's worth checking out for sure because the base game is great and I can only imagine this makes it better. Simon, along with Asmodee, is releasing Zombicide 2nd Edition Rio de Janeiro. So this is a expansion to Zombicide 2nd Edition. There are a lot of Zombicide versions out there. 2nd Edition is sort of the modern setting. It's not space, it's not Western, it's not all this other stuff. It's just now. It's your life. Can you imagine your life with zombies in it? Then that's Zombicide 2nd Edition. Well, Rio de Janeiro takes the Zombicide setting to Rio de Janeiro for Carnival. And if you've ever seen Carnival, it's really fun. It's sort of Bourbon Street, New Orleans-esque, but it's a big party. It's a lot of dancing. It's bright. It's colorful. It's a lot of fun. And so this is a campaign expansion. So it sets it in the busy streets of Rio de Janeiro, and you are survivors that must take it. You must take it out of town as quickly as you can. So you're working for survival in the middle of Carnival. So that's fun, and there's a lot of content for Zombicide, and now you have more. Crowd Games is releasing Evolution New World Butterfly Effect expansion. So Evolution New World is a game that, it's all about the natural world. It's about how living organisms interact with the environment and all of that sort of stuff. So in this game, in this expansion, it gives you new and unique ways to play Evolution New World. You'll find 13 new traits and the seashore area, which adds more gameplay depth. You will find a solo mode in this expansion. The Alien World scenario will allow you to fight one-on-one against the merciless Dominator. There's additional tokens. There's a butterfly effects scenario where you start a chain reaction of random events that affect the game's course and change the evolutionary process. So if you're a fan of evolution, of science, of nature, or even the base game Evolution New World, then Butterfly Effect is for you. Fantasy Flight Games and Asmodee is releasing the expansion Arkham Horror, the card game, Fortune and Folly scenario pack. So Arkham Horror is a game where there's a lot of content for it. There's a lot of cards. I should say the card game, not Arkham Horror, the board game. Arkham Horror, the card game, there's a lot of different content for it, and they're constantly releasing new stuff. It's a dark setting. It's a fun game. In this particular expansion, it is a scenario pack where 1 to 4 investigators plan and execute a daring casino heist. Your target, the Wellspring of Fortune, a mysterious relic that allows the casino to stack the odds in its favor. So it's kind of like Indiana Jones meets Ocean's 11, huh? Casino heist to get a relic. That sounds fun. I like that. I like that combination. And they don't say that that's what the combination is. I say that's what the combination is, okay? I made that up. Asmodee and Ludonate are releasing Colt Express, Conveyors, and Armored Train. So this is an expansion to the game Colt Express where you are bandits robbing a train. You are moving along train cars and trying to get the loot that is in different train cars. It's a lot of fun, and this is a in the original game, in the base game, you are working on your own. You are not teaming up. You are, individual bandits trying to get the most wealth. Well, in this game, you now get to work together as teams to try to become the wealthiest bandits in the Wild West. And it also adds a second train. So in the original game, the first train just had a bunch of gems and, money and that sort of stuff. In this one, there is a second train that has precious documents. So you can jump from train to train, stealing different things from different trains, and by the end of the game, you have to be back on the original train. So, it's a game that has like fun 3D boxcars and stuff like that too. So, just adds more to Colt Express. Colt Express also a game that plays a higher player count, which is one of the things that makes it great. So this expansion, no different, plays 3 to 8 players. So that's fun. Restoration Games is releasing Unmatched Teen Spirit. This falls into their Unmatched line. If you don't know what that is, it is a series of games that all have asymmetric characters in them. They are all standalone games, but they can be combined. So this is a standalone expansion. It's a 2-player sort of head-to-head combat game with miniatures and things like that. A lot of different characters you can play as. Well, in Unmatched Teen Spirit, it features 4 characters from the Marvel Comics universe. Miss Marvel, Squirrel Girl, and the team of Cloak and Dagger. And like I mentioned, it's all asymmetric characters. They all play differently, and this can be played on its own, or it can be combined with other characters from other Unmatched sets. So it's a standalone expansion for you here. Van Ryder Games is releasing Final Girl Series 2. So Final Girl is one of the best, the very best, solo-only games out there. It's got an amazing theme. You are the final girl in a horror setting, and you are fighting to stay alive. You are fighting to defeat the bad guys. There was a decent amount of content in Final Girl Series 1, and now this is Series 2. So you still need the base game to play any of these scenarios, but Series 2 has a bunch of different scenarios. So you can buy all of them together. I think you can buy individual ones as well. So it adds the scenarios, the solo games, Into the Void, Terror at Station 2891, A Knock at the Door, Once Upon a Full Moon, and Madness in the Dark. So these are all sort of different settings. Each one of those scenarios I mentioned is a different setting, a different, a different bad guy that you're fighting to kill and stay alive from. Different. One of them features Big Bad Wolf Killer in the Storybook Woods. One features Ratchet Lady Killer in the Wolf Asylum. One features the organism killer at station 2891. So again, lots of different scenarios for you to play through. You do need the base game, but then you only need the base game once, and then all of these work with that. WizKids is releasing Dungeons and Dragons Onslaught, Sellswords. So Dungeons and Dragons Onslaught is a new game from WizKids. It's a competitive skirmish game in which each player controls an adventuring party from one of the powerful factions of the Forgotten Realms. Parties delve into dungeons, battle rival adventurers, and confront fearsome monsters on a quest for treasure and glory. So the core set of Onslaught includes material for 2 players, including 12 characters from 2 factions. And then this Dungeons and Dragons Onslaught Sellswords expansion bolsters your games with exciting new characters for hire. There's 4 new mercenaries that can apply their skills and offer up new options. So it's just adding more content to the game, just like most expansions do. Hey, more content. That's the whole idea behind expansions. So those are the expansions I have for you this month, but then I also like to fold in some new additions into this video. These are games that maybe have been out of print for a while and they're getting an update from a new publisher or something like that. So we've got a few of those this month. Asmodee is releasing Spot It! Disney 100th Anniversary. So Spot It! Is a great game for kids, a family weight game where you are putting out a few cards and then trying to be the first to pick out the thing that is the same on 2 cards, right? Oh, there's Mickey on that card, there's Mickey on that card, and then you win the cards. So the Disney 100th Anniversary includes all of your favorite Disney characters. It also includes Pixar characters. So it's not just sort of the classic Disney characters, it's also modern Disney characters. So if you're a huge fan of Disney or you're looking for a game that you can play with your kids or in a family setting, this is a very easy game to get into. And, Spot It! Is a pretty famous kids game at this point. So the new, if you're a Disney fan, you can play Disney Spot It! Eggert Schmiele and Asmodee are releasing Village Big Box. Village is a game that came out 10 years ago or so that won a bunch of awards, won a bunch of major awards, and the Big Box combines the base game, the in and port expansions, every single promo previously released, and a new expansion called Marriage. So Village, if you don't know, is a game where you are sending your villagers around to work, to travel, to pray, and one of the innovative things behind it was your villagers die. There is multiple generations in the game, so time is a factor in the game, and generations. You are trying to earn renown for your family over the generations. And so this is it is a very big box, but it has all of the content you've ever wanted for Village in the same place. So if you want to jump into this game for the first time, this is a pretty good way to do it. Or if you're just have been a big fan of Village, here's your chance to get it all together in a nice collector's box. Asmodee and Next Move are releasing Azul Mini. So this is a travel version of Azul. It is the same game as the original Azul, but now in a smaller package so you can bring it around with you to different places much easier. It's, I would say about half the size, it seems like. Not only is the box smaller, the tiles are smaller, the boards are smaller, but I think the coolest thing they did in the game, there's this plastic overlay for your board, and all of the Azul tiles, instead of being double-sided tiles like they were in the original, now they are one-sided tiles, but on the other side is a little concave circle. And so they actually sit on the plastic overlay for your board. The plastic overlay has little humps, and then you put your tile onto one of those humps, and now they're not going anywhere. Now they're not moving. So this is a game you can play, you know, in a moving RV or in the wind or in, you know, a place where you're moving around a bunch. Now you can do that. I wish more miniature versions of games did that. You know, that's such a great idea to not worry about bumping the table and your things spilling all over the place. Now they're set into place. So if you want a travel version of Azul, check out Azul Mini. Think Fun Games is releasing a version of the game WordARound, but this is Disney. So obviously there's a bunch of Disney stuff right now because Disney is having its 100th anniversary and everybody wants on board. Everybody wants to be in on that. So WordARound is a game with circular cards and there are letters around the circle and you have to be the first person to figure out what the word is. And it's actually more challenging than it thinks, you know, when the letters are all spaced out, you're trying to figure out where a word starts and ends. Well, this is the Disney version of that game. So, you know, it's all the characters, all the things from Disney you know and love in the WordARound package. So again, this is a family weight game, a little light party game. WizKids is releasing Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Scrawlers Heroes of Waterdeep. This is a re-implementation of Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Scrawlers Heroes of Undermountain. Now, this is set in the world of Waterdeep. Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Scrawlers is a sort of dungeon scrawl game where you are drawing stuff on your dry erase dungeon map and you're having to move around the maze in a single unbroken line, and along the way you have to face challenges that earn them points, like filling in monsters to defeat them, circling treasures to take it, tracing a spell to cast it, and more. So it's a sort of, you know, roll and write version of Dungeons & Dragons, a classic dungeon crawl game, but now it's a dungeon scrawl game, because you're drawing stuff, and WizKids is very clever. So, yeah, there you go. And again, this is set in, you're going to journey to Waterdeep as you explore a wide variety of locations. Haunted streets, crowded ports, labyrinth hedge mazes, and even take on Xanthar in his lair. So that's what I got for you this month. Those are the best expansions and new additions coming to retail in April 2023. I hope you found something that you're interested in. You know, one of my goals with this game is to always have, with this video, is to have a bunch of different types of games in it, so there's something for everybody. So I hope you're excited about one of these expansions out there. I know I am, personally. So that's it. Thanks so much for liking and subscribing. I appreciate you sharing this video and posting it different places and all that stuff. It helps more people find out about this. And in the end, this is a service to the board game community. So nobody else is really covering retail releases. So I want to let you guys know about stuff you can get out there pretty easily. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Thanks again.